Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome y'all to another Bikes in the Hood podcast, right? We're going to be doing something that we've already touched on before, dealing with prospecting and drinking. Fontaine and Mecca should be tuning in any minute, and we're going to see how this pan out. A lot of things happen, man. If you're on ground, man, please be safe. You know, I know a lot of times we want to just speed from light to light or corner to corner on these streets, man. And you know, I know a brother went down from Cocky Riders last week, I believe it was, on 108th and Crenshaw. I was told that another brother went down just before Imperial on Crenshaw and he didn't make it. You know, listen, y'all. I am one of those guys who like to drive fast, man. Please, 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 please. You know what I'm saying? Be considerate of them streets, man, because cars come out and turn. A lot of them is idiots. They don't see us. We're a pencil. We like this coming down the street to them. And, you know, I've been cut off. Car just jumped over in front of me before, like side by side. So, you know, I do my best to ride defensively, you know, and but on those streets, you know, a lot of us tend to want to race from light to light. Cars pull up on us, these Mustang, all these old whatever racing cars, and we want to just get out there and smash. Bros, listen, we can't race every car. You know, they protected in that damn cage. We not. Basically, Mecca, I was just talking to him about being cautious. You know, two bros went down on Crenshaw the last week. One didn't make it. You know, and you know how we be zipping and flying up and down the streets like cars ain't coming out them side streets, bro. You know?
Right.
So, you know, where's the self-appointed district attorney at, man?
Yeah. I don't know. I told him I'm going to be right here just in case you start.
Right. You know? Yeah, he gone somewhere. He trying to get his drink together. He trying to get his lighting together so he don't come in like Darth Vader. You know what I mean?
I am your father.
You know?
Exactly. You know, now
Man, he still ain't came online, man.
See, that's a cold cat, bro.
Man.
That's a cold cat. And what time is it?
Come on, Luke.
Oh.
I am your father.
It's not true. That's impossible. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
So, you know. Shit, he got his lighting setting up and everything. Hey. Oh, don't tell me you're freezing up over there, bro.
Oh, okay.
That's all I see is his mouth, bro.
Now we back moving. Because your mouth was glitched open.
Yeah,
nigga, we
why?
used to be jabbing. You know, talking about uppercut.
So, Fontaine, we were just kind of waiting for you to come in, but we was talking about, you know, all the accidents that's happening on, you know, speeding up and down these streets and cars coming out the side streets and, you know, brothers is dying and getting critical condition, you know, just kind of taking the precautions to be safer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny because I always been a freeway type of dude, right? And people be like,
Right.
oh, why you like the freeway and all this other stuff? I'm like, because we all going the same way. You know what I mean? You know, it's less of a chance of someone popping out of a side street out of nowhere.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Or crossing my face and cutting me off. So I get it. You know, we just, you know, that adrenaline get to going. You get in the streets. You know, you kind of new to the scene. You get them eyeballs looking and people hollering at you. You know, talking about you want to burn rubber a couple times. You know, what I'm talking about not your soul, but it's, you know, it happens. So
yeah,
you know, for the most part, just we got to slow down. You know, and just know, you know, I guess when to do it, when not to do it. You know, you don't have to do it all the damn time. You know what I mean? Because that's, you know what I mean, that's how people end up getting clipped. So
right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, go to do the introduction. Kick us off, boss.
Well, well, it's your main Fontaine, the court-appointed DA. Ah, we got Mecca the Feelings Record and Dr. Feelgood over there sipping like a motherfucker to make you feel better. He probably got something in the drink. Probably got a little syrup over there,
Little
something in the drink.
scissor, you know
You know
what I
what I'm talking
mean?
about? Make you feel a little better. You put the thing up where, prospects and drinking. And the question is, because I seen it, somebody talking about it on, social media. The question is to drink or not to drink. That is the question when it comes to the prospect. Some people and some clubs feel like they should never drink. Some let them kind of do what they want to do. And in this, I guess, time frame, prospects are doing more drinking and partying than they are actually working and learning. So
Yeah.
I think there's a cold balance to it. But what say you, Senor McDeVille?
All I can say is, man, on that issue, it should be. It's like a hit and miss, depending on how mentally strong you are, not to go out and get fucked up, because we all know everybody's prospecting time was different than anybody else's. Everyone's journey is different, and I'm speaking on myself per se, because even though the OGs would tell me, unless I told you to, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, no, you cannot drink. But then also I was told, after you get done working and doing what you're supposed to do, yeah. Because at one time I was at an event, one of the OGs said, "Come here, prospect, sit your ass down." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Here, have a beer." And I was like, "Yo, I can't drink that." He said, "I don't give a fuck what you said. I'm telling you, sit down and have a drink. Because you've been working so long, you're doing what you're supposed to do. I'm telling you, it's okay to have a drink. If anybody has something to say, you come tell them that I said it." And I was like, "Oh, shit. Well, damn."
What you say, doctor?
Well, you know what? Well, when I came out, when I prospect, my sponsor did not allow me to drink. You know what I mean? And then towards the end of the night, he allowed me to have a beer. You know what I mean? Currently, we made a decision that whenever it's any one of our chapters annual, prospects cannot drink because your ass gonna be working. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a particular person. He's a member now, but shit, the minute he smoke weed, he become a mine. He's a mute. Boom. He's no good. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he ain't drinking a high, shit, he talking to him, he on point, and I just think that I'm two-sided. I think, one, it is in the club's best interest to see that person when they're intoxicated, because you get to know what you're getting and what you're not getting. On the other hand, when they got to work, it's like your ass too drunk or too fucked up to go work, and that's a problem, because now you know how it goes. Somebody else may say, you know what, he don't need to get his patch no time soon, or your prospect did this, and that's we don't want to hear our prospect did something negative or didn't do something right when you've been giving him the proper education and the proper tutelage that he needs. You know what I mean? So I definitely would like to see mine intoxicated because I know what I'm getting. Are you the guy to get drunk and want to fight? You know what I mean? Or you the guy to get drunk and want to cry because your girlfriend didn't let you ride the bike that's in her name? You know what I mean? You know. But on the other side, I understand too, like where you need to be able to work. You know what I mean?
My thing is like this. I always want to know what the fuck I'm getting into, because I don't want to sit there and tell somebody that they can't drink, they can't do A, B, and C, and then once you turn full colors and you start to drink, now you just a full blown asshole. You know what I mean? Now I got to save you, or I got to be a brother now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because you're in the club. So my thing with that is I go ahead and let them do what they're gonna do, so I understand what I'm getting into in the first place. that within itself is going to tell me whether they're a right fit for me or not, or in my chapter or in my club. You know, if you're a belligerent, you can go ahead and kiss that goodbye. I'll let you know right then. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so that's that aspect of the game. When it comes to working and whatnot, for sure. You know what I mean? If it's an annual, they shouldn't be really doing shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But working because they're at the bottom of the totem pole. So I get
Right.
that. And when it's over, they should have the ability to go get fucked up. You know what I mean? With nobody else in their face anymore. You know what I mean? They should, you know what I mean? Come, 12:15 in the morning. It's your time, buddy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? To go get, towed back, because you've been working all night. You know what I mean? That's just my mentality of it. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, like, you don't want them, super, belligerent, because if
Oh,
something does
oh,
pop off, you know what I
damn.
mean? Yeah, now you got to save they motherfucking ass too.
There's no video. Keep talking, my
You,
boy. Don't even
yeah,
trip. See?
yeah, just use your ears. I'm talking about see with your ears. But yeah,
Oh,
that's the
man.
scenario with that. Like I said, I need to know what I'm getting into. I need to know, can you handle yourself being drunk? Can you ride your bike being drunk? You know what I mean? Or even
Yeah.
or even not even drunk, just have a buzz. Because sometimes a drink helps relax an individual. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes some people don't drink to get belligerent. Now, when you're doing that, to me, I think you're trying to show out. You know what I mean?
Oh,
When you
yeah,
get
yeah,
that,
for sure.
I mean, you get that fucked up. Oh, bro, you trying to show out. You clearly not trying to make it home today. You know what I mean? So every club's gonna be different, but sometimes it's good to let them do their thing so that you can see their true colors. And you really know what you're dealing with.
Mecca, you mentioned it earlier. Prospecting ain't what it used to be.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to drive all the way to Vegas to pick up a cup of coffee and have so-and-so sign a receipt and bring your ass all the way back with a hot cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
What do you do about them individuals who like the newer clubs? Because when I seen the post, I don't know who he was speaking of. He could have been talking about newer clubs, older clubs, whatever the case may be. But let's say it's a newer club, and what if the newer club's president and members and all them, they ain't never prospected before either. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you gonna see is niggas hanging around partying and drinking, because
Yeah,
that's how we started.
exactly. But see, we talked
Yeah.
about that before. You know what I mean? When they ain't got no rules and they ain't got no bylaws and all that shit,
Mhm.
they renegades. They might be a club, but they're a bunch of renegades. You know, um, if you in that club and you don't like it, you need to get out because that's their habit.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a bad habit to have, though.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
And it's something. Go
but
ahead.
no, I was gonna say that's the ones that fall apart fast.
Yeah,
I mean, because everything turns personal at that point. There's no more the
True.
absolutely.
bigger picture. There's no more the bigger
Yeah,
picture of what we trying to build, or whatever. It's just, nigga, you owe me $20, nigga. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, my boy. You still getting my 20 from that Denny's, my boy. It is
yeah,
over.
Right,
yeah.
right.
No, like for example, particular prospect. You know, he got asked to do something, and his facial expression was, "Hey man, we need you to go work today." You know, "Hey man, we need you to help them pick up the trash." You know, and then another vice president got at him like, "Hey man, if you see me picking up trash, you need to pick up some fucking trash." You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And the mindset of the prospect was, "Man, I don't like the way you get at me. I'm a man." I said, "You a man, but not while you prospecting. You a prospect."
For him to even say that, it's like the first thing out of your mouth should have been okay. And it's about being humble. Coming over to the motorcycle community from the 99% to the 1% side, man. It's about are you available to humble yourself to be able to
Yeah,
take constructive criticism well to where that you're not gonna get pissed off because my man, Fontaine told me we're all adults here. I'm gonna
yeah,
respect respect you, you respect me. And I damn sure wouldn't ask you to do nothing I wouldn't do for myself. So the respect game has to be up here. Now,
Absolutely.
if you come to the game and you don't respect that certain individual by the way he talk to you, then that's between you and that man. Because now it's like, oh, you know what? I don't respect him for me to ask you some shit like that. If someone else come and ask you some shit like that and you do it, now I know for sure it's a personal issue between you and that guy.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm a touch on both of y'all. What y'all said first. Like Mecca, like you said about coming from a 99 to the the 1% of the outlaw. You could be in a 99. You could be in a social club. You could be in a Christian club. You're gonna have somebody that might have a smart ass mouth and
Oh
not know how to
yeah.
talk to people. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't think that level, like the level, really has to deal with it when it comes to being able to take instruction. And it's not about being humble. It's about being able to accept getting humble. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because some people come from walks of life. You know what I mean? Like what you said about not being a man, Dr. Phil. I hear that. Like when it comes to like the bike kind of aspect of the game, right? But like
Yeah.
me, I've never judged individuals off of what they did outside of this. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
I tell people all the time, like if I put them out or whatever, or I had something to do with it, I'll tell them. It ain't got nothing to do with how much money you make. It ain't got nothing to do nothing about the bitches you get. It don't have to do about none of that shit. It's the fact
Right.
that you can't do this. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And so, like, 'cause some people want to take it personal, even with that part. When you
Right.
take their colors or a prospect don't make it or whatever the case may be, they want to sit there, oh, this nigga whoop, man. And it's not even about all that. It's about the fact that you ain't done the steps that the other 99% of these niggas done to be here.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's the concept. And when it comes to like I said before about the humbling and the conversations, sometimes you have to just, like they say, it's like a two-sided coin. They sit there and say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. At the same
Right.
time, it's it's not what they say, it's what you respond to. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a give and take kind of conversation. You know what I mean? So if you know this one cat talks to all the club brothers like that, then that's just him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes you can't take that conversation
Right.
personal,
Right.
especially if the other brothers ain't done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your best thing would be to be like, hold on, bro. Like, pull him to the side, be like, don't talk to me like that. And if it goes sideways, then it just goes sideways at that moment. You know
Right.
what I mean? But, you know what I mean, to kind of check him, you know what I mean? And I ain't going to really say check because that makes it sound aggressive. But, have that conversation like, bro, don't talk to me like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done it a few times, being in my organization, over the, especially when I first came in,
Yeah.
So it happens, and sometimes you got to, put them things in order. Some of these presidents don't know what to do. All they know is partying and drinking and the whole shebang and getting on your bike, you know what I mean, and telling a story about how you made it home loaded.
Right.
You know
Right.
what
I
I
don't
mean?
even know how I got home, man.
Yeah, I was on autopilot. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's
Right.
your best story. You know what I mean? To tell you, yeah. So the prospect thinks, well, fuck, if he doing it, I'm supposed to do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We supposed to be out here loaded, doing what we supposed to do.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Man, listen. 99% of the people on the motorcycle set ain't professional. So
Not at
they're
all.
not gonna come and excuse me. Would you like to help me pick up trash? They're not gonna do that shit. You see what I'm saying? And if
right.
they're in a position of leadership, they do have to be mindful of their words. But at the same time, I'm outside picking up trash and you standing there smoking a blunt and you looking at me and I'm looking at you and you don't know enough to come and say, hey, where the trash bags at? Let me help you.
Who brought? And that's the thing. Like it goes back to who brought them in. Just like my man Satin asked, is there a member that if a member is the member that brings the person to the club responsible for the vetting them as far as drinking and dummy shit? Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course
Yeah.
they are. And well, let me back up. They should be okay because, like I say, a lot of times not every club runs the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, who brought that dude to the table
Right.
to allow you to stand there and pick up trash as a president, and they just continue to smoke a blunt? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the difference. I remember one time, some years ago, uh, we were having a party somewhere, and I just go to join in. I grabbed the broom. I think I took 2 swipes with the broom. My national snatched that shit out of my hand and was like, "We got somebody else for that." You know what I mean? But in my mind, it was like I was just wanting to hurry up and help him get up out of here. But he's like, "Nah, it's a pecking order to the game." You see what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, it's whoever brought them in here. They're the ones who
Uh-huh.
should
Right.
have told them, check this out. You are at the bottom of the totem pole. When it comes time to taking
Yeah.
out the trash, you're going to do it first. When it comes down to sweeping, you're going to do it first or second. You see what I'm saying? That's where it's at. I'm the, you know what I mean, being the president, whatnot, you would be the last on the totem pole or on the list to grab a broom or something like that. Of course, you're going to do
Right.
it first because you want to be proactive and kind of show people what to do. But the reality of it, it's the prospect and it's the member who
Right.
brought them here. You know what I mean? Tell them what it is first. You know what I mean? I get it. The whole hang around status is the partying sign. You know what I mean? Of the partying time when we get to go hang out, mess with the females and get loaded. Well, that's when you hang around. When you put the patch on, it's time to put in the work to get the actual patch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once you start prospecting, that's the concept. If they still allow you to party and do the fun shit, cool. But understand any type of work, you know what I mean? Store runs, pushing a broom, running to the bar because you guys are in a group. You're going first.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? As a prospect, you're going first. You know what I mean? So you can't really be that loaded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get your little sip on or whatever because most club members or clubs will sit there and tell the prospect, yeah, you get something too. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's the concept. It has to be moderated when it comes to them being fucked up. And if it's not, once they get too fucked up, that's not the dude for you
Right.
and for your order. You already know how we get out. So, me,
I
I'm not
know.
saying nothing to the prospect. Where your sponsor at?
You're
Let
gonna
me
hang
go talk to
yourself.
him. Yeah, yeah. Let me go chop his motherfucking head off.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah, of
mean?
Right.
course.
Because it's not your fault. You just got here.
Yeah.
You just got here. You know what I mean? So if
Mm-hmm.
I can't really expect you to know too much, you know what I mean? But where your sponsor at though, my boy? That's
And
who
you
I
know
want to
what?
talk
That's what I was getting to. And I'm speaking, and I can't speak for all 99 percenters. I'm speaking from
to.
my particular
Mm-hmm.
chapter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, a lot of people don't even understand what a sponsor is. A lot of people don't understand when you bring this person, you're responsible for that person.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And when you didn't have proper prospecting, and I'm grateful for two of the brothers that dealt with me. One of them is online, and the other one is on vacation some damn where. Questions was asked,
Right.
but not everybody's going to be observant like me. I'm going to look, I'm going to watch, I'm going to listen, I'm going to ask. As a president, and my guy is online right now. We went to his annual, and we were going somewhere. I said, bro, you can't ride with me with your bike looking that dirty. I took out my detailing and my thing. I'm a president. He a president. I wash his bike. You can't ride with me with your shit dirty, homie.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's all about being humble. That doesn't make
Right.
me any less of a leader.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But when you have people coming in and you can say, hey man, go wash my bike. Man, I ain't washing your bike, man. Man, I don't even want to be in the club. He asked me to wash his bike. Bro.
But you know what? It's because being that was like an old school type of scenario, they push it now as being a bad thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just like property of, you know what I mean, for so long and you know what I mean, and they sometimes still in some circles push it as it being like, oh, that you're his little hoe or slave or you know what I mean, like dumb shit like that. And it's just because you just don't know. You don't know shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Um so, the washing of the bike, like how do I want to say this? It is like an old school thing, you know what I mean? But it for new people, it would show your, I guess, commitment or dedication to the organization you trying to be with. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, especially in this time frame. Now, back in the day, I don't know because I wasn't there back in the day, so I don't know if it was used for punishment or, you know what I mean,
Right,
it was just
right.
something you had to do. You know what I mean? So that's the concept with that scenario. But people take that as degrading. You know what I mean? To wash another man's anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right,
I'm
right.
going. You know what I
I
mean?
ain't washing
So
your balls, nigga.
damn, I was gonna say these your draws. You went a little too far.
Only Beckham would go there.
Yeah, you went a little
Just
too
saying.
far.
And my answer to that is, if you guys out there let your prospect drink, let them drink after they put in the work for whatever you guys got going on.
Okay,
That's where I'm at.
what if there's no work? What if y'all just at the club party?
I'm okay with that.
If we at a club partying with your colors on or without your colors on,
With you're at it, you're out.
we said
See, I'm okay
club,
with that.
mommy. You said club.
Listen to me. You think I'm talking
Annual
about a nightclub?
dance.
Listen, it's let's put it this way. It's not my club's event.
I'm
Okay.
okay with that. I'm okay with
Not
that.
Okay.
not your club event. I would say no.
And you got to get more in detail. All
Yeah,
you said was
Becca.
you just said he had a drunk prospect, something pop off, and he tells me, and that nigga tell me he in the bathroom. Huh? I don't know.
Okay.
What was he boo-booing? I mean, like, who popped off? Was it two females? Or was it somebody behind the bar? They was throwing ice. Did someone, you know what I mean? Like, I need to know the details.
Right.
I
It
cannot
can't be
fuck with y'all. I cannot do it. I'm not
it
gonna do
can't
it.
be
Not
something popped
today.
off. This nigga was boo-booing. What do I do with that?
So
What do
is
I
he
do?
supposed to squeeze and cut the motherfucker in half
Yeah,
and
there
run
you
out
go.
there?
Yeah. What they say, piss that loaf, my boy, and go figure it out. You know what I'm talking about? But what if nothing pops off? What if
Right.
nothing happens at all? You know what I mean? What if it's somebody else pop off and then he come back zipping his pants off? I'm like, Dad, what happened over there? Fuck, I don't know. I was in the bathroom. But it has nothing to do with us. Should I
No,
blame him for that?
exactly. No,
Okay, no,
no,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what I'm
no.
getting at. Like, you can sit there, and the prospect 9 times out of 10 gonna be next to you anyway. So you can sit there and judge his, his leaning, and you know what I mean. Like, damn, you know what I mean. You that fucked up. You know what I mean. So you
Right.
know at that point, you know what I mean. You can kind of judge and kind of
Hmm.
make him slow down because you're right next
Hmm.
to him. Like I said, me, I don't want to sit there and have no, like I told you, I don't need no sober Sam flipping out on me. You know what I mean? A year later, you know what I mean? And now people are talking about, but that's your brother. You know what I mean? But he's a
Well, for sure, yeah.
belligerent, you know what I mean? And a violent drunk. I don't need that.
Right,
You know what I mean? Because
right.
now I got to stop you, or, we got to keep getting in these motherfucking scuffles because you loaded in the motherfucker. Yeah, oh, no, no, no. You know what I mean? You can go
And not
ahead,
only
kill
that,
that off, and get out there and get to fighting for yourself.
right, and we need to see, I mean, Fontaine hit it earlier. We need to see how this person, like, okay, y'all know, we done been out together. My head is always on swivel. I don't care who club we at.
Hmm.
Right.
I'm gonna have me a couple of drinks, smoke my stogie, but I'm still looking around. I know some people look at me and be like, this nigga don't never be,
Can't
No.
be.
When you
Can't
walked
be.
away and you went to go deal with something at the gate, and I seen Pac-Man, I said, where Mecca at?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Oh,
Hmm.
Right.
he good. You walk up 2 minutes later.
Yeah,
Responsible leaders gonna do that no matter where they at.
of
Right.
A
course.
responsible prospect gonna do that no matter where they at. But he gonna be on your side as he should be. Some
Right.
people are emotional drunks. Some people are fighting drunks. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
need to know that before we get into a situation. Now, if it's our
Yeah.
club annual, no, you can't drink, bro. But there's bike nights, there's other people annuals. I need to see how you gonna act because when you become a member, can't nobody tell you can't have a drink. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you a member, you drunk, you over that corner sleep, you don't know what the fuck happened because you sleep because you done got too intoxicated. We need to know that kind of shit. Or you get drunk and you get paranoid. We need to know.
Like I said, I'm not finna babysit you for no year, 2 years, whatever, till you turn red, and then now I got to babysit you twice. You know what I mean? I'm cool. I am so
For
cool.
me, man,
Let me know what's popping right now. You know?
prospecting should teach you how to be a responsible member, man.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
much.
at the end of the day, you know,
Yeah.
because you want to be here. And as one of my club brothers told me, you pay to be here. Every time you pay your dues, you paying to be here, which means I'm accountable and responsible. I am supposed to be my brother's keeper. But a lot of dudes is coming in today. Prospecting is 2 days, a week. You got money, you in.
And then you got
we
some that,
passing him over.
yeah, then you got some that there is no prospecting period. But when you ask him, yeah, I mean, because they don't know how the game really goes, they gonna be hanging around for like 6 months. that's to them is their prospecting period. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
it's just because people don't really understand it. But that's another aspect.